Good morning. I wanted to take a few minutes this morning to share my personal experience uh, with Amazon Home Warranty, AHW Home Warranty Company. Uh, Again, this is my own opinion, my personal experience, and I'm sure there's others that have had different experiences. We purchased our home about 2 years ago, a little more now. Um, the home's in excellent shape, those kind of things. But it was a 20-year-old home, a little more, built in the late 90s. And after we had been here a short period of time, we decided that perhaps it would be worth a home warranty because, in particular, the two HVAC units, there's an upstairs unit and a downstairs unit. In particular, they were original to the home, so they were 20 plus, nearing 25 years old, had already probably outlived the normal life expectancy for a typical HVAC unit. And of course, we had appliances and other things, and we thought, okay, it's probably worth the investment. We did a little price comparison, and we went with AHW, the Amazon Home Warranty, which is not in any way affiliated with Amazon, the company. When we think of online shopping and Amazon Prime, AHW, Amazon Home Warranty, is totally separate. We had one small claim on one of the HVAC units. Capacitor had went out. We called the number, filed the claim. They got back to us within 24 hours. They assigned a technician. The technician came out, repaired. We paid a $65 deductible service fee, whatever you want to consider that, and were completely satisfied. That was very early on. That was pre-COVID. So I wonder if COVID maybe hasn't had an impact here in terms of uh, workers, employees, availability, supply chain, just a combination of those issues. Uh, I did wonder about that initial claim. The contractor traveled for an hour and a half, actually a little over an hour and a half, one way to get to our location. And I thought, man, I would have thought they would have had a local contractor, because any licensed, certified local contractor can sign up to work with AHW and work through their home warranty program as a contractor. But anyway, fast forward to May the 4th of this year. So, uh, roughly a month ago, and our upstairs HVAC unit went out. Um, I assume the process will be very similar to before. I called, submitted the request. A couple of days later, I got a reply back that said they did not have a contractor in the area, and they were sorry. And I'm like, okay, what do you do now? So I called after multiple phone calls, multiple times on hold. Finally, getting to speak to someone, they told me there was a reimbursement process, needed to get a quote, uh, and go through this approval process. They'd send me the documents. Uh, the documents never arrived via email, but I fully understand the quote. So, trying to be totally above board, I got not just one quote, but three quotes, uh, all from licensed HVAC. I've got multiple folders of documents, etc. So I've got three quotes. Here is a quote for the company that's actually going to do the work this coming Tuesday, almost 4 weeks after the initial complaint, and we're going to pay out of pocket, and AHW is fully denied everything. Here is another quote, and of course, here is the claim reimbursement form. Here is finally the claim reimbursement instructions. Here is the third quote that clearly at the top of this shows the diagnosis, the written diagnosis of exactly what's wrong. Um, Basically, the unit's 25 years old. It's an R22 based unit. R22 is no longer commercially available. Uh, all three contractors said, uh, even if they identify the leak in the coil, whether it's inside or outside the coil unit, they repair that. Uh, just the cost to refill the unit with refrigerant gas, the R22, would be $1,200 or more. So to repair a unit that's 25 years old, you're going to easily get to $2,500, $3,000. Uh, just to repair the leak where the gas leaked out, refill it, and then you still have a 25-year-old unit in terms of compressor, motors, electronics, control boards, etc. All three recommended replacing. I asked all three for a quote. All three provided a written quote with an explanation. One of the three even provided two options, a lower end unit in terms of performance and efficiency that was somewhat less expensive. Uh, Called Amazon back, AHW, multiple phone calls, you know, um, no response, on hold. I have spoken to their mediation department. I have spoken to their resolution department. Essentially, it comes down to AHW has this reimbursement process that requires the local technician. It doesn't matter that they submitted written quotes, that we scanned all those written quotes with the diagnosis and submitted those on the company's official, letterhead, their estimate document. Uh, they want to speak to the technician. AHW wants to speak to the technician. Uh, and all three companies, technicians said, we don't have time for that. Those are non billable hours. We're not going to go through, call them being put on hold, which I can fully appreciate. At this point, over the last month, uh, I've got recorded, and this is only since I started recording the call times and hold times. I've been on hold with AHW over 23 hours, and I didn't bother to try to count or measure the time I was on hold for the first, I don't know, 6, 7 phone calls. So outside of the first 6 or 7 phone calls, I've been on hold with their customer service, their representatives, resolution, mediation for over 23 hours on hold. Call them up, explain the situation. They say, let me connect you to someone. I get the hold music. I put my phone on speaker and lay it down so I can continue to work. And no one ever comes back, ever. Over 23 hours on hold. We are now into double digit emails. I have no idea. We have sent email after email after email with attachment after attachment after attachment. The written quotes from the vendors, photographs of the HVAC unit itself, photographs of the identification tag with the model number, serial number. I mean, I don't know what else we could possibly send at this point. So based on that, based on, I can't expect these local technicians to work through Amazon's reimbursements process. If they wanted to work with Amazon, they'd sign up to be a contractor. If it was worth being a contractor, in my opinion, there'd probably be more local contractors. The one we had a couple of years ago that traveled an hour and a half one direction, that should have been a hint, I guess. But anyway, local contractors aren't going to do that, to the point that Amazon started trying to call them back. So we'll give Amazon, at least they tried to reach back out that way, but not through me. Tried to reach back out to the technicians, to the point that one of the three contractors has since withdrawn their quote because of the annoyance calls they're getting from AHW, and their technicians don't have time to speak to AHW. Often you get someone with broken English, and it's just, you're on hold for minutes and minutes, if not hours and hours. And personally, I've been on hold for hours on a time. So I understand these local contractors are not going to go through that when they already have more work than they can keep up with. And it's cash paying work. It's not work where you have to go through a reimbursement or a warranty claim. It makes no sense to me. So essentially, we decided, well, let's just cancel it. We are a little bit more than halfway through a 3-year contract. We have about 14, 15 months left on our contract. Here's the contract, all 22 pages of the contract with the start date, end date, amount paid, etc. So we decided, let's just cancel the contract and we'll take whatever reimbursement for those 14 months, 15 months left on the contract and put that toward the cost of the new HVAC unit. Will be finished with AHW. So I got back a hold of resolutions, talked to a lady that spoke really nicely on the phone, but clearly had different interpretations of our conversations. But I did finally get back to Faith on the phone. um, and explained what I wanted. I even had the contract explained on page 16, the cancellation, and there is clearly a cancellation clause on page 16 on our particular contract that explains how you can cancel the contract, the refund available for the balance of the term of the contract. So we're thinking, okay, maybe we get a few $100s back. We put that down, no problem. Um, Amazon did cancel the contract, no problem. They canceled it, absolutely refused to offer any reimbursement. I mean, right here literally is the page with the cancellation, and you can see there is a cancellation clause. Actually, it's pretty straightforward. Uh, you know, if you cancel after the first 30 days, you shall be entitled to a pro rata refund of the paid contract fee for the unexpired term, blah, 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 less the cancellation fee of $30. So it's pretty straightforward. Apparently, AHW is not going to honor that either. So at this point, we're just done with AHW. We're going to cut our losses. The contract apparently has been canceled according to AHW, even though they refused to offer the balance refund for the unexpired contract term. After doing a little more work, I learned that just in November, this past November, November 2021, AHW Home Warranty settled a lawsuit with the Attorney General of Arizona. You can Google that easy enough. Look for AHW lawsuit. And essentially, the Attorney General of Arizona filed the lawsuit based on fraudulent claims, fraudulent business practices. But you can read about that online. I'm not a legal person. I have spent years in the family business of building supply, sales and service, general contracting. I could have called AHW, pretended to have been the technician from one of these three local contractors, and explained the situation, and might have gotten through that way. I doubt it. Seems like they have a history of denying more significant claims. But why should I have to be dishonest? I tried to be totally honest. They wanted a quote from one vendor. I went above and beyond. I got three. It's just not been a positive experience. So at this point, my first ever YouTube video here. I don't do a lot of the video stuff. Don't do a lot of social media stuff, etc. This will be my one and only YouTube video, at least for the time being. But I am actively putting money into a campaign, social media campaign, to share my experience with AHW Home Warranty, just so hopefully others can avoid that. Doesn't bother me a bit if I can spend, $25, $50 a week. I'll pay that just because of the aggravation, the hours and hours and hours that I've spent on hold, that I've been given the runaround. It's not that far from where I live to Columbus, Ohio. Apparently, their business address is on 3rd Street in Columbus, Ohio, if you look at their own website. And when I asked if someone was actually working in the office, thinking about COVID, if I showed up at the office with my contract, could I talk to a customer service person? I never got an answer. It was not a yes. It wasn't a no. It was a, I'll have to check. I will transfer you, and put me on hold. And there again, on hold for hours. No one ever came back. In my experience, the whole thing has just been a scam. But I'm willing to spend a few $100s, and you can buy a lot of social media advertisement, Facebook, whatever, for a few $100s. I just don't want maybe other folks who are not as financially capable of handling the home repairs as my wife and I are blessed to be. But I don't want other folks to have to go through this. So if I can put a little money, to me, it's now become a cause. Had they just denied the contract and give some, I'd have said, or the claim, I'd have said, okay, not a problem. I understand that insurance claims get denied. I might disagree. Is there a mediation or an appeal process? But it's not even that. It's just the total lack of customer service, empathy. And then after I get to looking, they, months ago, November 2021, scheduled a or settled a lawsuit in Arizona for fraudulent business practices. Basically, I mean, just go Google it. Even this old house, if you are into home repair or any of that, you watch this TV show on TV, This Old House. Even they've got reviews that reference the lawsuit being settled in Arizona. So that's just my experience. My first experience was a minor repair. It was very positive. It was pre-COVID. Um, but the local contractor wasn't really local. They did travel an hour and a half one way, which I found interesting. So maybe there just truly is no local contractors doing that. There's plenty of local contractors. I mean, I had no problem getting 3 local HVAC contractors to come out and give me a quote. None of those 3 were willing to go through the AHW, Amazon Home Warranty, reimbursements process. And all of them had the same answer. Those are non-billable hours for our technicians. Why should we do that? We gave you a quote. You pay us, we do the work. That's how the world functions. We're not, it's not on us to help you get approval. And I get that. Now, one did say, we'll certainly do that, but we're gonna have to change our estimate every time that we are on the phone or that we're in communication, because those are times that our technicians are devoting to this. And I get that. And based on my own experience being on hold more than 20 hours at this point with no resolution, can you imagine what that would do to the estimate for the quote if the technicians were doing that? If a technician who is making pretty serious money per hour has to spend 20 plus hours on the phone trying to get approval, holy cow, the wait time, phone time alone would be more than the cost of the HVAC unit. Regardless, wife and I are blessed, but we'll just pay for it. Not a big issue. We'll pay out of pocket, no problem. We will put considerable time and money towards social media and other advertisement, especially in the Columbus, Ohio area. But AHW Home Warranty is nationwide, so it's not just a regional thing. But we're more than willing to spend a little bit of cash, because now this has kind of become personal just because of the lack of compassion, the lack of customer service. And quite frankly, when you get to my state in life, I'm retired. I'm blessed to be able to work from home, do some contracting work, etc. So now AHW has given me something to get up every morning. First thing I do is check media posts for anything related to AHW, and I don't try to run AHW down. Maybe this is my own experience. Maybe I'm the only one in the world that has had a negative experience. I do see on social media some people have had very positive experience. My first experience on the capacitor for the downstairs HVAC was positive. We paid $65. Technician come out, we had it back up and running in 4 or 5 days, which was not unreasonable. Anyway, I've taken enough of your time today. If you've got comments, feel free to comment below. If you've had experiences, positive or negative, please share. That's all I'm after, is trying to provide some personal experience, shed some insight into experiences of other consumers that have had interactions with Amazon Home Warranty, AHW. Thank you. Everyone have a great day.